missing someone.
Hey, this is Bond Diesel bringing you the final incident report. This time we're going to be doing the LMB reports for Intel Insights. Goes into a little history, gets some words from the actual people in the group, sets the stage a bit for what they are and who they are. Let's listen, I'll discuss afterwards, and we will go from there.
So I'm thinking the ones we really got to worry about are the cons. They know how to fight.
Nah, it's those cleaners, man. The guys with the flamethrowers. They got discipline.
They don't have range. Rikers, they've got some sort of arms pipeline in place. They've got sniper rifles. They've got SMGs.
Flamethrowers, man. And those guys are fanatics. They don't run.
Don't have to run if you drop them from half a click away.
I'm not buying it.
But what about the JTF? You think they're going to be a problem?
JTF? Are they still even in Manhattan?
From the first time I put on a uniform, I knew I was on the path to become the man I was destined to be. I knew I had accepted a burden that was going to last a lifetime. And even when I left our country's military behind, my obligation for service remained. That obligation is one I and all the men and women of the Last Man Battalion take seriously. We will get the job done. We will serve with honor and dignity, and we will, if necessary, fight to the very last man. Because that is who we are and what we do.
The Last Man Battalion. Security you can count on.
Hey, honey. Do you hear that? That's your daughter. You've become a father. A healthy baby girl. Little Josephine. I wish you could see her. She looks just like you. You both got the same little frown. I miss you, baby. I wish you were here to share this. But we'll be waiting for you when you get back. Love you. Love you more than anything.
Hi, Rick, it's Charles. I got your message regarding the situation in New York, and I think you're absolutely right. Things are going to get out of hand faster than the government realizes. They're going to lose control before they've even signed the deployment orders. You ask me, the only thing that's going to work is to impose absolute authority on the population. People are scared and angry, and that's when they'll act stupid and risk the lives of others. I've seen it too many times. Now, you want to shut those instincts down and enforce zero tolerance. Anything beyond that is not going to produce results. And in the long run, that will cost you a lot more than hiring my people.
Heads up. 2 o'clock, standing on the roof by the billboard.
Yeah, I see. Single target. Looks like the mustache could use a trim. Target 0.26 mils high. Angle 0.
Yeah. That'll put you at 1,220 meters. That's Darby's record plus 60.
Darby's about to eat it. What's my dial?
Dial 18 mils, 1 click.
Wind?
9 o'clock, 3 miles per hour. Dial left, 1.2 mils.
All right. Package waiting.
Send it. Jesus!
You see Darby tell him to get his ass back to target practice? New queen just got crowned.
You can see the results of relying on the Joint Task Force right here in the middle of Manhattan. That's what they're calling the Dark Zone. That's a melodramatic way of saying it's a region of complete lawlessness. No surveillance and total lack of ability to enforce control. That is something you cannot have on your watch.
Sir, I thought the purpose was to evacuate.
And how did that work out? Sure, they got the people out, but what did they let back in? And all the equipment and hardware they left behind? We're talking amateurs here, in charge of public safety in one of the biggest cities in the country.
Yes, sir.
The point is, this just proves that our operations are more efficient. Methodical expansion, civilian processing, enhanced interrogation. We're working at twice the efficiency with half the manpower. The fact that the JTF failed miserably with the Dark Zone is the same reason this city needs the Last Man Battalion.
Remember when we were back in the sandbox?
Gosh, yes. I had hair back then.
And you had everything figured out.
Not much has changed there.
You've always been good at leading soldiers. Leading them into battle, leading them to join up with a new PMC. They're always willing to follow.
Well, I've got some good speechwriters.
Knock it off, Charles. You write your own crap and you always have. And they'll always follow you. They'd follow you to the gates of hell if you asked. You've done a hell of a job here, Charles.
Hey, I'm not done yet. The best is yet to come.
Hey, Charles, this is Nancy again. I've reviewed your mission proposal, and I think it looks solid. I believe the board of directors will have no problem approving it. The only thing that stands out, perhaps, is the lack of support on Wall Street, but I think we all understand that under the circumstances, it's best to prioritize our primary assets in Midtown. I'm sure our foreign investors will be delighted to hear that you're taking them into account as well. Anyway, the board will be reviewing the plan in 2 hours or so. Just thought I'd send you a heads up. Talk to you soon.
What we need to do is assess our resources and define our mission statement. The statement is clear. We must retake control. And with the resources we have left, it's also clear we can't afford any half measures. Every soldier counts. Every soldier is a critical resource. There are no reinforcements being deployed. There is no air support. We work slow and steady. We secure the city sector by sector, and then we hold them for dear life. I need you all to be on your feet, ready to make some quick decisions. It's better to shoot someone innocent than to let someone guilty get away. And it's better to shoot first than to risk being shot, even if you're not 100% sure. That's how we will win this war. That's how we will save this city. Collateral damage is to be expected.
Charles, listen to me. This is a breach of contract. You were hired to secure our assets as agreed upon, and you've left them vulnerable. We're talking billions in damages here.
I don't give a damn about your assets, Nancy, not anymore. We followed our contract to the letter, and in return, you stuck my men in here under government-issued quarantine, expected to protect empty buildings in a dying city. Well, I can't ask him to do that. We've got bigger fish to fry.
You're not going to get away with this, Charles.
What are you going to do? Sue me? You and your family are going to die. You will all die if I don't do something here. Something more important than keeping watch over a dead server farm. Oh, and see someone about that cough. It sounds nasty.
Charles frickin' Bliss, man. While I think the cleaners are the most interesting as an entire group, I think that Charles Bliss was the best written head of one of the factions. He definitely comes off as that former military, just kind of badass. Knows how to handle people, knows how to handle situations, more than likely knows how to bullshit his way through, even if he doesn't know what's going on or what he's doing. His partnership with Keener, and then Keener's eventual rebellion against him or betrayal of him, that you hear during the General Assembly mission. It definitely shows maybe a little bit of a weakness, but overall, it's really interesting. They definitely try to humanize the LMB in this, by like the Come Home one, where it's, I assume one of the wives or girlfriends of one of the LMB soldiers. There's a lot of talk about how people would follow this guy, to the gates of hell. He's obviously very charismatic, a very strong leader, in this way. The mission and breach of contract both kind of explain, if you don't already know, the whole point of the LMB, of this private military company being in Manhattan at the start of this situation, was to just protect Wall Street, and the various businesses and data farms and stuff there that are worth billions and billions and billions of dollars. And that was the whole purpose of him even bringing his crew there. And then they kind of got stuck into this quarantine, not realizing it. The sniper one is kind of funny. I'm curious to how accurate the lingo is in it. It sounds good, but I'm obviously not a former or current military sniper or spotter, so I wouldn't be surprised if either it's dead on or completely false and from a movie. But I still like it. I think it's pretty cool. You can definitely tell that as all of the other factions in the city know, the LMB is also fully aware they're the best ones there. That's why they tend to be the most formidable enemies in the game. And that's why I assume that's why we got the enhanced LMB in all of the legendary missions. They're just harder. They're good. They're well equipped. I think it's a bummer that Division 1 didn't include any vehicle combat or even transport, because they would have been a fun faction. The LMB has all those Hummers with the mounted machine guns. The cleaners, to that note, would have been really cool to see actually roll up on their garbage trucks. But yeah, the LMB is really interesting. I would say of all the factions is the most realistic one, maybe besides the rioters, in a situation that would likely really happen in some capacity. You get a lot of depth from them and the other intel, especially the underground, where you find out that not everyone in the LMB necessarily agrees with Bliss or the leadership and how things are being handled. Charles Bliss is also a character that we assume is dead at the end of General Assembly, but may not be. We don't see him die unless I see a character die like Beret. I never say never. The LMB is the one faction I think could return in Division 2, because the LMB private military company would be much larger than just what's in Manhattan. They would likely be a global company, a global force of some type, but who knows? I don't know. We'll have to see if they get mentioned, at least in the sequel. If they aren't in the sequel, which they probably won't be as an actual faction, I highly suspect we get a similar faction in the game to kind of take their place in some capacity. So I'll be curious to see it. That's all I have for today. We'll be moving on to doing some echoes. The videos will probably be a little bit different. But until then, this is Bond Diesel.